Hey everyone, very good morning. I welcome you all from Arch College of Business and Design for the Learning Series Part 2. I am Hiten and we have Andrew with us. And like we all talk about inspiration all the time, how to do it and what to do, how to think about it, how to do, where to go, where to lead. So today we have Andrew. He will share his feedbacks with us, all the learning and about creativity, inspiration, daily life inspiration. And about Andrew, I'll tell you. Andrew Horsfall is a distinguished member of the Royal Society of British Sculptors and also celebrated by his pioneer contributions to contemporary English sculpture, spanning various mediums from recycled wood to stone. For his work, Intricacy explores the convergence of organic forms across scales, resonating with both monumental landscape and the sub-molecular realm. So please welcome Andrew Horsfall.
Um, I am a UK citizen. I've already had a good introduction by my friend here. Um, but Jaipur is, for the moment, is my home. Very happy being here. Um, going back to when I was younger, I was very lucky with my education. I had a Waldorf private school education, which takes you through from kindergarten to age 18. Um, the school was very, very heavily based on the arts. And I think at that age, you don't realize the privilege, and the inspiration that you take for granted that's been given to you. Um, for instance, apart from all the academic education we needed, we were taught from a very early age how to draw with wax crayons, then to paint with watercolor. Then we had many, many crafts, wood carving, blacksmithing, jewellery, tailoring, leatherwork, bookbinding, and more. Now I'm going to show you some pictures of my school and some of the work that my children who went to the same school have done. I forget the age, but I was certainly my children and I were taught when we were at this school watercolor, probably about age 8 or 9. Then we would go on to. Is it easy to get the rest of the pictures up?
Yes.
We're just trying to load some of the other pictures. So woodwork, wood carving. Given the slight problem in getting pictures up quickly, I'm going to carry on. Now, I think everybody can see that from this work at a very early age, the teachers were clearly inspired in what they were imparting with us. And I think that I left school very early on. I was that this business of nothing in my brain is slightly true to a degree. I was told by the school I had no academic skills and no future other than in my arts.
Okay.
And clearly, this my schooling is where my inspiration came from when it comes to being an artist, both painting and sculpture. So the next part of what I'm going to talk to you about is where does the meaning, what's the literal meaning of inspiration? And there, if you look in the dictionary, there appears to be two different meanings. One is a theological meaning, divine influence, dates back to the 14th century. The God will give you inspiration. The gods will give you inspiration. The second one is a strange one. It's the description is the drawing of air into the lungs, the action of power to moving the intellect of emotions. Now, if you think about it, they are actually connected. It's this spark that by drawing in a breath, you are taking in something, and you're taking in our context, you're taking in inspiration. So these are the literal meanings of inspiration in the dictionary. Now, inspiration for an artist is an artist cannot be an artist without inspiration. It's the artist has to have the ability to connect seemingly unrelated things, to connect the dots between disparate things. Sometimes you can see beauty in terrible things, and it's the artist's job to pluck out that beauty in what they're seeing, which to a lot of people might look awful, but might be something terrible. It's about the passion that fuels inspiration. Now, the other word for me that goes with inspiration is passion. The two go together. You can't really have one without the other. Well, you can have passion, but you can't have inspiration without passion. For example, so this is a little example where passion, I think, will give inspiration. If you are a great cricket lover, as I'm sure most of you here are, and you've been given the task of redesigning the Indian cricket team's kit. If you've got that passion, I'm sure you're going to make a wonderful job of redesigning their kit. If you reverse it and you're not a cricket lover, I think you're going to struggle to make a proper job of designing their kit. Now, for me, I'm just going to go back to how I experienced inspiration in my early sculptures. Just going to put some slides on again, some pictures on. Put the one with the wavy. So I started sculpting as more of a pastime and a sort of rest and relaxation exercise when I was 16, 17, having left school. To start off with, I really didn't know where to get that inspiration from. And one day we were, as a family, I think we were down by the sea, and I picked up with a seaweed, which had this wonderful curve that you can see in the top of this piece of marble that I've made. This is a recurring theme in a lot of my early work. I would start off with making a sketch on what I was going to do, but the sketch really was simply a means of guiding me through the carving process. I started with wood, which was plentiful and around me. My father, who was a cabinet maker, so was highly skilled in working with wood. Now, the idea would be in my head. So the drawing process is simply a method of achieving the goal on finding the sculpture within the lump of wood or the lump of stone. Because I can see that sculpture in my head, the carving process for me could be quite brutal in that the removal of material was done very rapidly. It's like unwrapping a present. As a child, you rip the paper off. I'm ripping off the extra stone around the object until I get to it. Rather than, and this is, it's how people work. Other sculptors will carefully remove the stone layer by layer. But for me, because I know exactly what's inside there, and this is where the inspiration comes in, I don't have to take this slower process. In my early works, there was never any meaning or story behind the piece. Indeed, sometimes I struggled even to give them a title. I'm a strong believer in letting the viewer, the audience, see what they want in my work. It's for them to create the story, and from this they will gain inspiration. Whereas if I give them the story, the inspiration for the viewer, I think, could be lost. Which is something I think a lot of artists do at the moment, which I think is a shame. So I mean, this is what I said. So if the artist defines their works too rigidly, it leaves no room for the audience to expand the idea behind the work with their own ideas. Hence, no passion, no inspiration is gained. Just another little example on some of my work, which you can see in more detail when you go to the website. Please do that. We'll send you a link to it. I tend never to finish anything with a point. Okay, there you go. This is another early piece with a seaweedy shape, but you'll notice the top is truncated. In my opinion, if you create the point, if you reach the end of the piece of sculpture, wherever it might be, it's finite. It does not allow the imagination to go further. So it's the same thing as writing an elaborate meaning behind your sculpture. So this is what I call my early works. Now, my later works changed tack completely. I've started to create works that do have a very strong message. Okay, so this is one of my new works with a message behind it. I'm just going to read through what I've written first, and then we'll go back to the sculpture. So,
Yeah, what's the material? Is this metal? That previous one.
the first one, this is bronze, the one we've just go
Okay.
back to in a second. So this is bronze, cast in bronze. So it's just a series of sculptures. Now, I'll come back to them in a second. So I've started to create work that has a very strong message. Generally, things I feel passionate about. I suppose this is where the arts is in the statement and open for discussion, of course. Having inspiration is the message, and the message comes from the passion on the subject matter, whether it's political, social, media, gender, religion, or something else that one feels strongly about. Converting this idea, because the idea has come before the sculpture, into 2 to 3 dimensions needs a different approach than in my early works. It's a matter of joining the dots again. When you can't see what they're connected to, and only when they are done does it make sense. It's a matter of seeing a different meaning in what's available to you, in connecting seemingly random objects with different uses and meanings to create a new meaning. Throughout my thoughts above is the overriding feeling of inspiration, even down to putting this lecture, for want of a better word, on paper. So this this series of sculptures you see here, hold on a minute, we've got some text somewhere as well. It's called the Beggar series. Right, I'm going to leave you to read this for a minute. So this is the Beggar series is the bit we're coming to now. Beggar series, I examine different aspects of begging in the sense that beggars can deceive themselves, projecting how they operate as fair through indulging to self-righteous belief that they deserve society's support. Often beggars are part of a wider business in India. There's a terrible record of mutilation, etc., to present child beggars in the most desperate conditions. So this is what I call a good beggar. He's not part of a begging gang. He's a genuine beggar. And this is cast in bronze. Again, this is sort of related to this series, but not as closely as the next one. Keep going. So the one on the right is what we call the money monster. Go down up a bit more. Go right. This is the bad beggar. This is the beggar that is there to take your money, not because he needs it to survive, but because it's a system for him to make a lot of money at the cost of other people, at the cost of the members of his gang. Okay, so that is the beggar series. Then did we load the break glass display one? So I'm going to show you one more of my latest series, which has a strong social message, and that's one of so again, this is 7-piece series, which is created in response to my concern about society's trend towards overprotecting our children. The series reflects that we are removing all aspect of risk. We're wrapping our children in bubble wrap. We're preventing them from playing where something might be dangerous. And this is reducing children's ability to see risk through removing their natural curiosity. Now, the irony of a child ability to learn from experiences, it leaves them vulnerable as adults. Children unaware of danger signs lack the ability to assess danger in adulthood. I also believe that this removal of risk has contributed to the startling rise in mental health issues in young adults. So we move it up. So the idea is that I've taken a firebox and enlarged it, and inside that I have put a toy with the title on there, "Break Glass to Play." Now the toys, ironically, are actually all from taken from my children's toys, which my wife always kept. And they've been converted into something very precious. So you'll notice that they're gold plated. They've got diamonds set in as eyes. They've got sapphires set in as back. So there's a series of 7 children's toys here that are in a box that you can't get at unless there is a danger that you need to play. That's pretty much it. So this is a sort of complete. Excuse me. This is a complete from creating a beautiful shape that has no real message, to the complete opposite, where the message becomes very much part of the sculpture, but I'm leaving it open-ended again, which is what I like to do, and not too much description, in that there is a double meaning in these toys. You as the viewers have got to see that. For instance, in the Lego men that you can see in front of you, I'll give this away a little bit. There's a sexual tension in there. There's 2 boys with a girl in the middle. I'm going to leave you to judge this any further. I think that sort of brings me to the end of what I'm going to say. Questions would be great. That's sort of as far as I got. I think really it's now a matter of